Everyone, how you doing? NTL Sports Podcast, excuse me. We're on episode 94. We're down to the Final Four, y'all. NBA playoffs, the NBA playoff tournament, however you want to call it. Down to the Final Four. We got the Western Conference Finals matchup and the Eastern Conference Finals matchup. Dallas versus Minnesota. Boston versus Indiana. Juggernauts going at each other for a spot in the one final series, the NBA Finals. So we'll preview both of those matchups. Plus, we'll probably do a little recapping of, I guess, the 3 series that ended Saturday and then 2 series ended on Sunday. So, with all that being said, please stay tuned. NBA playoffs action. Let's do a little recapping before we preview these finals of the Eastern and Western Conference. Let's start at Saturday. OKC versus Dallas. We were in Dallas for this one. Some people think it's a controversial call into that game. I thought, it's in my opinion, definitively a foul. Shea fouled, I think it was PJ Washington, right, on that 3 where he double clutched and he got hit in the arm. Got 3 free throws, sealed the deal for Dallas. OKC lost that challenge, which could have, if they just preserved that timeout, they could have just ran a play with 2 seconds left on their side of the court instead of heaving a 80-foot shot. But regardless, Dallas moves on. 2 times in 3 years that Luka pushed his team to the Western Conference Finals. Lawrence, I know we both picked the Mavs to win, but I didn't see them winning in 6. I think I said 7. How you feeling about the game 6?
Yeah, because we were in here and I said the only one I feel bad about is the Dallas game to go 7 games in that parlay. It's like, I just don't have a good feeling about it. I have this gut feeling that Dallas just ends it at home because, I don't know, it's kind of like I guess not the talk, but it just seemed right because the stat was that it was 113 to, I think it was 37, home versus away teams losing. And then the first time in NFL or in NBA history that 2 away teams in Game 7 win from on the away side. So I thought Mavs had to do it in 6 if they wanted to win it because I thought they were going to go to OKC and lose it.
Yeah, regardless, I think it still have been a good game. OKC, they played just as well as they could have played, honestly. Maybe you can get a little bit more from your bench. Your bench didn't really give you too much, but 116, 117, man, I think they shouldn't beat themselves up too much. It was a tiki-tack play. It went the Mavs' way. It just happens, sometimes. So, and they're young. They're the youngest team to get the number 1 seed. They're only gonna get better. They got $30 million in cap, which we'll talk about, when we break down their future. But I'm not too mad at them. Shea definitely showed you why he should have been MVP. This man in the fourth quarter literally kept them in the game. This man was hitting step backs, mid-range, driving to the hole, hitting threes, and he's not even a good 3-point shooter. I remember when they were down 4, and then he hit the 3 to bring them back, I think by down 1. I was like, man, this kid should have been MVP. He's doing everything MVP should and, can do. So, great performance by him. But let's do the Knicks and the Pacers. Now, we both had the Knicks to win, Lawrence, but I think we both said, hey, the longer this series goes on, the more trouble the Knicks are in. And what happens? Just the injuries just start piling up.
4 minutes. That was the game. So I bet on the Knicks just because I had a feeling Knicks are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, they said OG was starting. And I was like, okay. And then the first 5 minutes of the game, watching OG play with them, and he was hitting shots. And then it was like, oh, but he can only play 4 minutes, and that's rough.
I didn't watch the beginning of the game, but when I got back and started watching, I think halfway through the first. I was like, wait, I thought he was playing, and then they had already said that, hey, yeah, he could only muster up 4 minutes. Which, hey, he played 4 minutes. That's pretty tough on a hamstring. I know it was all taped up and stuff, so he probably could only move but so much anyway. But I think this definitively, I think, shows you that the Tibbs way is just not sustainable. You can't run your players into the ground into the regular season and then expect them to be the same in the postseason. Especially Josh Hart, like running him into the ground, playing 48 minutes, like back to back to back games almost. Like, what did you expect to happen? You think he's not gonna cramp up or pull something? Like, I mean, come on. I think this proves that, hey, his style of coaching is just not conducive to winning. Yeah, it might give you good numbers and good stats, but I think in terms of just long term viability, it's not the answer, right?
I think they just need more depth. I feel like the only reason they have to play that way is because they don't have any depth, and part of his system is like, well, fuck depth. We don't care about depth. But like, I don't know. I feel like maybe improving his system. But this season, like Julius Randle, you gotta get rid of him. No offense, but he's always hurt. He's always hurt.
You think so? He has to go?
He's always hurt. Like you're paying that much money, and you saw how good the team was with pretty much no bench. Mm-hmm. So you could literally just sell Randle, get a good sixth man, so that way certain guys can come out of the game for multiple points in the game to score points. Mm-hmm. And just find a bunch of like two or three good role players on different teams, but I mean significant role players, which you can pay for by splitting Julius Randle's money up 3 ways. That way you have more players to use at your disposal. I mean, at the end of the season, dude, he had no players because all the players he does have, they just get hurt all the time. And like, okay, so you have to play your stars more because Julius Randle's never there when you need him to be there.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I think also, but just like in the regular season, though, he just runs you into the ground. Like it could be Game 5, the 82 season, and he's running into the ground. Like I think that just like runs its course, right? Like I think it just adds up. Like I think Randall's a product of that. Bogdanovich is a product of that. Even though he got traded there in a short amount of time, he couldn't take it because he was playing in Detroit, but he wasn't playing like this, So I think some people can play that way, but then I feel like most NBA players, like, bro, you can't play them 40 plus minutes and not expect them to get hurt.
I think that's very true, but it's because there's no bench. There's just I can't take Hart out because the guys behind Hart are just bad, and
I like McBride. I like Burks.
Okay, but they're not what you want in the the playoff game. But like McBride, he had to play 40 minutes. I mean,
yeah,
he's not meant to be playing 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
They need another guy to be able to play that 40 minutes.
Yeah,
but not actually have to play it. But
I agree. On the Pacers side, their offense. When I first heard the stat that they shot 76% in the first half, I was like, let me go run to the computer and play some bets because there's no way in hell this is sustainable. I know the Knicks are missing people. And Josh Hart is giving it his all, but he's playing like 50% of himself. But I was like, there's no way that the Pacers can sustain 76%. They didn't, but they sustained 66, and I think they made over half their threes. So give it up to Pacers. They just had a really hot night, and it just seemed like whatever the Knicks did just didn't work.
I think the bigger use out of TJ McConnell was the series. Like they actually use him now in these games, multiple minutes. But see, I think that should have been the way it was done the whole way throughout the season.
Yeah.
Because no offense, he's the only one that plays defense. But it's very tenacious, annoying defense that no one else on their team plays. It's just honestly just needed. And the fact that you can plug TJ McConnell in multiple times. Okay, say at the beginning of the game he comes in for Halliburton. Halliburton sits for 3 minutes. He plays for him. And then, okay, we're going to take off Naismith. TJ McConnell, you just move over and play Naismith's position. Then you got him. Then you got McConnell feeding pretty beautiful passes to Halliburton, and Halliburton's like, okay, free. It's free money because no one was even guarding me because it's just a pretty pass. I think TJ McConnell is kind of the reason why it was more successful. Because, I mean, he kind of wore down some of the Knicks guys who were having bad nights, and the best way to keep a guy cold is keep him having bad shots. Like, Brunson was cold. T.J. McConnell would not get off of him. He was literally on him.
He was on him like white on rice, literally. Like, he's a dog. He's definitely. And you're right. They probably, if they would have went to it sooner, maybe this goes 6 games. Maybe they would have won a road game sooner if that was the case.
I also just think like you would have gotten more regular season wins if that was the case. I feel like just
their defense is like, I know people play defense in the playoffs, but I didn't expect them to pick it up this much.
Yeah, and he's just the only piece that's different. So I just think he had something to do with it. But yeah, I mean, the whole team was pretty damn good. I mean, they just looked outstanding from like the halfway through the first quarter on. Like it was just all Pacers all night or all day.
Yeah, they, like I said, they just could not miss. It seemed like the second game on yesterday, Timberwolves Nuggets Game 7 in Denver at altitude. I took the Minnesota spread, thinking Nuggets championship pedigree. They'll pull out a Game 7 at home. Alas, that didn't happen. Even though Ant-Man, if you would have told me Ant-Man goes 6 of 24, and Minnesota wins, I would have laughed at you. But nonetheless, that's what happened. He goes 6 of 24, 2 of 10 from 3. Literally, he was getting double teamed every single time he got the ball. If he was at the top of the key or at the wing, he was getting double teamed, and he had to get the ball out of his hands. Had some turnovers from that. I had one turnover, but he had some bad passes as well. But man, Timberwolves are legit. They're definitely legit. I think the Nuggets, number one, they're definitely sore losers, especially their coach. You gotta be able, if you're gonna dish it out, you gotta be able to take it, bro. You can't say, "Oh, I'm your daddy" to the Lakers, this and that, and then when someone asks you a legit question like, "Oh, hey, like, how did it feel to lose" or whatever, he's like, "Oh, next question after dumbass question." Like, bro, you're such a sore fucking loser, bro. Like, you're one of the worst type of people. But what are your thoughts, Lawrence, on the game and then some of the post game antics and stuff like that?
I didn't watch any of the post game antics, so I'll leave that to you. I don't watch many post game antics. I do sometimes. I was watching the NASCAR one, so I kind of was distracted. NASCAR one was juicy. I don't know if you know about it. But anywho, back on the other note, I mean, it's just the starters for Minnesota played better than the Nugget starters. They're just more people scored the points. Denver's Nuggets, I mean, Denver, I'm pretty sure all their points came from 2 people, and not one person scored any other points. And like, I don't know how it's justifiable to even run an offense where only 2 guys did anything the whole night.
I think in the second half, Jokic and Murray scored literally over 90% of the points. And I think they got no more than 5 points from another person. So yeah, that's not a winning formula.
Dude, Aaron Gordon didn't even get shot attempts. Like, he just didn't shoot the ball ever. Michael Porter Jr. shot the ball way too much for the way he was playing. I mean, honestly, the reason I think they lost is because they didn't move the ball around ever. I mean, look at everyone else's shot attempts. I mean, only person who shot the ball other than the 2 stars is Porter Jr. You're telling me you couldn't, KCP couldn't have more than 4 shots from 3?
Yeah.
Jokic is taking 10 threes. 10 threes from Jokic. Why is Jokic taking 10 threes?
Shout out to Minnesota. They packed the paint. They was like, "Hey, we're gonna live and die by this 3. If they gonna make a bunch of threes, so be it. But we're not gonna let Jokic just pound away in the paint. Gobert just at his mercy, and Cat at his mercy, and Naz Reid at his mercy. And then when Jokic did go in the paint, they started swarming him and swatting shots and getting steals and stealing passes that he would make out of the post. So shout out to them, Minnesota, for making that adjustment. But yeah, I mean, it's inexcusable, bro. Like, Michael Porter Jr. couldn't miss last series against the Lakers, and then the past 3 games he was nowhere to be found. Same with KCP. Aaron Gordon only had like one good game. That one game where he scored like what 20 or something. It was like what 25 or something in
27, I
game.
think. Yeah.
I think it was like game 3 or something. Inexcusable. Like you pay these guys all this money, and apparently you have the best starting lineup, and the stats say you do have the best starting lineup, and 3 of your starters don't show up, and you lost most of your bench in the offseason. Bruce Brown leaves, and then Jeff Green leaves, and then Reggie Jackson is just getting old. He can't do the same stuff that he could do 4 or 5 years ago. He's not Pistons Reggie Jackson or Clippers Reggie Jackson. He's not that. So, I mean, come on. Nuggets and your coach doesn't recognize this and make adjustments as well. I don't know. I think this is going to be a hot take, and it's probably going to be a little controversial, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think the Nuggets' run last year was a fluke, and I think they just had really good matchups all the way through. And then when they got to Miami, who was beaten up and vastly undersized, it was just a perfect matchup. I'm just going to say it. I think it was a fluke. I think moving forward, the Nuggets just don't have the means to beat some of these better teams. I think a lot of teams are better than them now. Any comments?
I agree. I think the Timberwolves just rely on 2 players way too much. And one of their guys is just always hurt, who they rely on a lot. So
Talking about the Nuggets.
Yeah, the Nuggets. I mean, I think going forward, if they make another run again, it's because they have a bench. They can't do it like the way they have it now. Like, I think they just trust Brown or Braun a lot, and then no one else. Like, oh my bad. Like Reggie Jackson's like, okay, we're not gonna show him any daylight. Holiday, you're not gonna show them any daylight. Literally, they played a game to score 0 points. Trash. You didn't even give them a chance to either. They took 1 shot between the 2 of them. I mean, KCP took basically no shots. Aaron Gordon took no shots. And then the whole problem is you just didn't play anyone. They were just out there. No one played.
Yeah. And losing 3 games at home and you're the defending champs, that's a bad sign, number one. And that's just not a way to win. You can't win like that. I'm sorry. But let's move on to the actual previews of these Western and Eastern Conference Finals. Let's start with the East. We got Celtics. We got Indiana. Lawrence, I'll let you go first on this one. I'll go first in the West. Who you got winning and in how many games? I don't know if I can hear you.
I think I disconnected for a second. I disconnected for a second. So I think going forward, this is going to be a really fun series. I think the pace of the Pacers is actually going to be a problem. And I just think it's also the problem. Like the Celtics haven't played anyone.
Yeah, that's true.
The Cavs were beaten up really bad, just like some other teams have been. But regardless, the Cavs just didn't look like the Cavs in that series. I just think the Pacers, with their new ability to play defense by letting certain guys play a little bit more minutes, probably gets us to go 6 games, 7 games. But in the end, I'm probably going to go Celtics.
Okay, Celtics in 6 or 7?
6. You're going to finish it off in Indiana, I think.
Okay, fair enough. I think for me, I've been thinking about this all night, most of the day today, trying to think of what I'm going to say. I know Porzingis is probably not going to play the first 2 games. So this is all dependent on Porzingis' health. I think this goes 7. And like you said, with Indiana and the newfound defense, and the Knicks, there are no slouches on defense. I think they finished 3rd in defense this year. I think Indiana wins this in 7. I think if Porzingis, if he's truly out games 1 and 2, I think Indiana's going to still win in Boston. Boston, I believe, is barely above 500 in the past 2 or 3 years at home in the playoffs. So they're definitely can be beaten at home. You see Miami do it in game 2. You saw Cleveland do it in game 2. There's a trend here. Boston's going to lose one at home. I think it's going to be when Porzingis is out. And depending on if he comes back games 3, 4, 5, or if he's even out extended period of time, maybe he doesn't even come back at all during this series, I think Indiana's going to pull this one out. Now, do the Celtics need Porzingis to win? I think they do. And they need a Porzingis that's like at 80%. I don't think a Porzingis that's just out there, just being like a decoy or just in the paint trying to block shots. I don't think that Porzingis is going to be able to be the X factor that the Celtics need him to be. I think the Celtics need a guy who can pick and pop, who can defend a little bit, who can move around comfortably. I just don't see that. I mean, he hurt his calf like a couple weeks ago. I mean, realistically, Kevin Durant tried to do it, and look what happened to him. Towards Achilles, came back too soon. So I'm not going to say this is going to happen, but I could definitely see a re-injury, or even possibly it just hasn't been that much time for him to actually, be effective. So I'm going to really lean into that. I'm going to say Indiana in 7. I think the offense is potent. I think they can score with Boston because Boston can score as well. But also I think they can defend Boston. So they got Miles Turner. He's a rim defender. When Boston eventually stops shooting threes and they start driving to the paint, he's going to lock it down. And Boston has wing defenders, like you said, TJ. They got Nembhard. Naismith isn't really a good defender, but at least he can go out and contest threes because that's all Boston does is shoot threes. So, with all that being said, I got Pacers in 7. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to have a surprise team this year, and I think it's going to be the Pacers, just like Miami was kind of the surprise team last year. So that's what I'm going with.
I kind of like it though. I'm not gonna lie to you at all.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a surprise team. I think every couple of years you're gonna have one.
Yeah, Siakam might be the kind of the difference they made at the deadline. I think it also might show people to use the deadline a little bit better.
Yeah, I think he's a big addition. Exactly what they needed. Now, maybe they do need another co-star of Halliburton. Who knows? But I think we know at least that Siakam and Halliburton is good enough to get you to the conference finals. I think that's solidified. So, but let's move on to the West. We got the Timberwolves. We got Dallas. Western Conference Finals. I believe they play on Wednesday. Boston plays tomorrow night. No games tonight. You guys obviously are going to see this on Tuesday, but Minnesota, I think, plays at home game 1 and 2. So with that being said, I'm going to go Dallas in 7. I think this is Luka's year. I think Luka's going to carry his team to the finals. He actually has a running mate this time instead of, a couple years ago. I think he ran to Golden State, and he just didn't have enough help. It was just him versus Steph, Clay, Draymond, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins. Like, he just didn't have enough. He didn't have a squad. Now he has a squad. He has a legit squad. You got Kyrie, you got him, you got PJ Washington, you got Derrick Jones Jr., you got Lively, you got big boy Gafford locking down the paint, getting blocks, getting rebounds. You got Josh Green. You got Jaden Hardy starting to play a little bit of minutes. He's been playing pretty good. Tim Hardaway, he comes, he's there. He's there every once in a while, but they got a legit squad, and I think obviously it's no defending Luka. I mean, he's gonna get his, and Kyrie's gonna get Kyrie's. He's gonna get his numbers too. So I think what this comes down to is, can Minnesota score with them? And Dallas has been sneaky good on defense. I mean, they've been sneaky good on defense as well. They're kind of like Indiana, where, regular season they were kind of kind of mid on defense, but playoffs they've been sneaky good on defense. So I think this comes down to, can Minnesota score with them? Ant-Man can't be 6 of 24 and beat Dallas. He might be able to do that against Denver, but you can't do that against Dallas. Dallas has in my opinion, way deeper team than Denver does. Denver just has a two-headed monster who just didn't have that one extra guy that they needed to join them. Dallas, they got a couple guys that can join the two-headed monster. So it's going to be tough. I think it goes 7. I think Luka closes it in Minnesota. Ant-Man will get close, but he won't be able to seal the deal. I got Dallas in 7.
I kind of see this as like a Dallas super year. I think Dallas wins this and wins the whole thing. I just think Dallas matches up better to either side. I think we all kind of saw this coming based on how they finished the season off.
Yeah.
And it's just like the story behind it. That's like the story, untold story. Like, you know how owner for the Dallas Mavs is selling the team.
Mark Cuban, yeah, he sold
Mark
2/3 of
Cuban.
the team. Yeah.
The team has more value than it's ever had before because they're about to win it all. You win it all one time, okay, you make a lot of money. But you win it again, in that short of a time span, you get a lot of bandwagoners. That's how you get like super good, franchisees. You get bandwagoners. You gotta get all the bandwagons. At that time period, like all the kids growing up, they're gonna see that Dallas is back-to-back or constantly good every year. They're gonna back them. Then that starts a trend, and then I don't know. The Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Mavericks start winning a lot. Then Dallas fans are just gonna be extra smuggy because they have two teams. So I just feel like Dallas is just like a perfect year for them. I think it would all stop all the Luka hate too. If Luka won it, like Luka automatically gets like a "you gotta leave me alone" card no matter what. And then Kyrie gets the "leave me alone" card no matter what. I did it without LeBron.
Yep. And
The rest of the guys on the team are just guys who've always wanted to win it.
And we already see, hey, Kyrie's gone father with Luka in 1.5 seasons that he did with Kevin Durant in like 3. So, I mean, that says a lot right there. Kyrie, people had questions at first, but seems like they kind of complement each other pretty well. So,
I think Luka just likes the work. Oh, not the Luka. Kyrie likes the workhorse that Luka is. Like Luka is a workhorse. Kevin Durant isn't the same workhorse.
Yeah, I agree. Luka's pretty much a mini LeBron. Not as athletic, but definitely plays just as smart. Super strong. Get to his spots. Can set teammates up. The guy is hurt and just posted a 29 point triple double. Come on now. Like, who does that? The only other person that could do that is probably LeBron. Like, come on now. Like, this dude's crazy good. And like, I know when we talked about the MVP, last week you were saying you probably should have been the runner up. I can't. I'm feeling the same way. Like, Luka's just a bad man. He's just a bad man. He's on no level.
Yeah, I just think that their series they had against each other, Shea and Luka, I think it just proved if Luka goes on to win the whole thing that at the very least those two should have gone 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that shows everything because like okay, Shea had a amazing series the whole way, but he lost to the eventual champion. Luka just had a few more guys on his team get a few more points, and that was the game. And that'll be the series. And Denver one looks really bad, just the way they lost it after being up so much.
Yeah,
It just is like, who the MVP 1 and MVP 2 were.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. They were up by as much as 20 in the third, and they screw around and lose that game. So just a bad look. But I guess for Minnesota being devil's advocate, I think we've seen Ant-Man, a couple times this, playoffs just rise to the occasion. Yeah, he had a stinker of an offensive game in Game 7, but he was locking Jamal Murray up. That second half, he locked him up. And then just, causing havoc on defense just all around. And Karl Anthony Towns, he's actually playing up to his potential. We'll see if he can do it for more than just a game or two. If he can do it for a whole series, then obviously that's going to be a problem. Because Dallas only has they only have 2 bigs. So Gafford and Lively are prone to getting foul trouble. So we'll see how that goes. And then like you kind of said last series of Gobert, how he's kind of not used to going against centers. Well, he's not. Gafford's not really a scoring center. Yeah, he'll catch lobs and yeah, he'll give you putbacks, but Gobert is going to be more of his natural self because he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be forced to guard a center per se. He's just going to be roaming. So we'll see if he has more of a defensive impact versus Dallas. That'll be interesting to see as well. I think it's definitely going 7. It's going to be an interesting series, but I think, like you said, Dallas wins this, then I have them winning the whole thing as well because I don't think, looking ahead, I don't think the Celtics. Yeah, they can probably score with Dallas, but if they don't have Porzingis even close to 75-80%, yeah, they're not going to beat Dallas. I think this is just their time. Their time, their year.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more with you.
All right. With that being said, what's up, Tevin?
What's up? What's up? You guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
That's a fact.
We'll just
Go ahead. I'll pick up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Really quickly before we wrap up, who you got in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then who you have in the Western Conference Finals?
So in the East, I'm gonna give Boston another breakthrough, getting back to the finals. I see the Pacers as a team that is lucky that the Knicks was who they had to play. I like their offense. They're a very talented team. Siakam has been a huge addition for them. They're deep. Halliburton looks like he's a star. But I think they're like the Timberwolves were last year, where even though they're making a little run, I feel like they're a little bit ahead of schedule. So maybe one more year, another draft. I like the Pacers next year to make a little bit. I guess the only deepest run they can make is the finals after this. So, yeah, the Pacers are something to look out for in the East. But I got the Celtics getting this done, and it's going to be exciting. I got nothing less than 6. The Celtics, they're prone to goof around, and this is not the team to do that with. I told y'all last series they're going to let the Pacers be in this. Actually, the first series, I said the Pacers going to be in this series with the Bucks, and they're going to knock them out. And they got the Knicks. I was scrappy, but knocked them out. So they're battle tested. And the Celtics, they are, but they're goofy, and they can't afford to be goofy. So I got the Celtics in 6 or 7. And the West is going to be fun as heck too, man. I mean, what else do you want to see? You got most talented offensive players in Kyrie, Luka, and Ant. And Ant committed to being a dang on superstar. He trying to be the next Kobe. Doggone, he might just do it. I mean, he got Minnesota looking good. They even clowned the franchise themselves. They ain't won in 20 dang on years. This franchise ain't had Nathan since Big Ticket. So it's exciting to see somebody uplift a franchise like that, a small market really. He's got those guys in line, like to be so young and command that respect and to show up, regardless if the media don't want to all the way give him credit. They're like, oh, well, he didn't have a great game. But, I mean, he's put 40 points up in these playoffs. So I don't know what they want from him. He's a superstar. Just stop playing with him. I do want to pick the Timberwolves, man. I really do. I'm kind of mad OKC. I had them getting to this point. But now that the Timberwolves is in here, I mean, this is their best time with the Western flux. It's not as daunting of a Western Conference. Really, you looking at two teams that it's like it's the right time for them, Like Kyrie and Luka, that's it in Dallas. You got the Wolves, they led by a 22-year-old. This is not the Warriors with 4 championships. This is not the Lakers with LeBron and AD. This is not doggone the Suns with all that firepower. This is the doggone Mavericks. They had their shine with what's his name, Nowinski hitting the jumpers on blank. That was the last time really Mavs had some good seasons in there, but this is their best run. If they want to also win a title in this little window with these spare parts they keep giving Luka, and this is the best one they got in Kyrie, this is the title town. So if they can, the only way that they win this is in 7 because they some guys is gimpy. They've been, hurt here and there. Luka, and he complained, and, they liable to lose some games that they need. So they could put themselves in a really bad position because they make it so that they have to win, like a game 3 or a game like 5. Like they just make everything more difficult than it has to be. I think they have enough talent with those two players to win in 5, but the Wolves are they're hot. They just beat the champs. They ready to take you clean out. So I got the Wolves live in that one in another 2-game series. It depends on who gets game 3 because both teams can win on the road. So game 3, those swing games, maybe game 5, those are going to be those critical ones. And yeah, I got the Wolves in 6 to wrap up on the West, and then I got the Celtics in 6 or 7 in the East. So that's going to be a fun one in the finals.
All right, fair enough. You got the Wolves. Me and Lawrence got the Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals.
How
I
many?
got the Pacers. I think
we both said 7.
Both said 7.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, boys.
And then for the East, I had Pacers in 7. I think you and Lawrence have Celtics in, I think, 6 or 7. So another great series for sure. Before we head on out, does anyone have anything else they want to add? I know Tyson Fury fought Usyk over the weekend, split decision. Fury lost. He had a little sore loser comment about how they only gave him or Usyk the win because of his country or whatever. But I mean, it's kind of I ain't like that. That was kind of just sore loser mentality.
Man, those been salty. Mike Malone to piggyback off sore losers. Mike Malone. I mean, I do feel like the media, like you should be able to tell them like one of the stupid question, and it is a dumb question. Like we lost. What does it matter if we lost by 20 or by 2 or whatever, however large lead we lost? But like to be like so blatant, and I've just never seen like doggone Monty Williams come out and kind of do something like that, or Mark Jackson. You see, he lost his job for allegedly saying stuff, and then I was in private. You feel me? So it's like, you can hold this L, bro. Like y'all lost, you look tired. That run took too much out of you. Hold this L, and ain't ready. Like it wasn't like they got swept or anything. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they went out like the Lakers. They've been doing the Lakers dirty and crip walking and blood stepping all over them. So when it's your turn, just hold the L and be like, we'll be back next year. We'll see y'all next year and see what's happening. Y'all just beat that team too, in the playoffs. So they had to deal with it. You deal with it too. So, and I ain't like that from Coach Malone. You can go and hold this L, my boy.
Yeah, facts. I ain't like that at all. Personally, I thought the question was okay. I don't think it was dumb. Just answer the guy's question. I know you're upset, bro, but like I said, if you're gonna if you're gonna dish it, bro, you gotta be able to receive it as well. You can't be saying, oh, I said it earlier, you can't be saying, oh, where's your daddy, this and that, talking about the Lakers and your parade, this and that, and then someone asks you a question you don't like, you're gonna call it a dumbass question, next question, this and that. Nah.
Oh, man.
Dude's the source of losers.
I feel like it's not gonna put him on the hot seat because you know how coaches like him, he gonna have like another 5 years. He's gonna live off this ship for a while. But man, I'm definitely looking for the Nuggets. They better start out pretty strong next year because I think their downfall was ultimately not getting the 1 seed. And because I mean they ended up losing to who was the 1 seed in the West? OKC.
Yeah, because I think they lost that one game to the Spurs, and then the OKC had a chance to clinch number 1 spot.
That's right. So I felt like it was just like people saw that they were vulnerable and a little wounded. Because when the Warriors was hitting and they was clearly like the best team, it didn't matter if they was like 1 or 3 or they was in the doggone would be the play-in now. Like they was gonna go and they was gonna make a run. Until they just got too doggone old. But yeah, the Nuggets. Yeah, they better start off strong because, Malone, I think people going to gun for him.
No doubt about that. Lawrence, any final thoughts before we head on out?
No, I got nothing. I didn't really watch the UFC this weekend. I watched a few fights. I basically didn't see it until the main card. And watching Angelia Hill win, I just love it. She's just the ultimate fighter mentality. I think the girl is 16-14 or 14-16 in the overall, but she just basically stays the rank of like 8 or 9. And basically, she's the gatekeeper of all gatekeepers. You're either good enough to beat her, or she whoops your ass, and you don't get to have another chance ever again because you lost Angelia Hill. So,
Damn, yeah, I didn't catch Fight Night this week. Second week in a row, I didn't catch Fight Night, so I'm kind of disappointed in myself. But I think the next pay per view is what, next week or 2 weeks, right? In Saudi Arabia.
it is 2 weeks from now.
Okay, nice. I think I want to say King and Queen of the Ring is this weekend on for WWE. So we'll probably talk about that more on Wednesday. But every match is gonna be a title match. Like I said last week, Cody Rhodes is already gonna go against Logan Paul for the United States Championship. So that should be a fun watch right there. But other than that, I got nothing else, guys. I think we're going to head on out. MTL Sports Podcast, episode 94. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening on Spotify. All that good stuff. And we'll see you on, I guess, Thursday. Peace.
Giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.